The story of Madison Avenue Christian Church begins at least as early as 1875, when a group of members withdrew from First Christian Church. The new congregation purchased the old Presbyterian church on the next block, and 4th Street Christian was born. By the 1890s, Covington's population had spread to the south side of the city, and church leaders began considering new locations. By 1912, they had agreed to consolidate with an upstart disciples' church, Central Christian, which had been meeting at a private residence at 18th and Greenup. In February of 1912, Florence Kennedy offered to buy the old Tracy property at 15th and Madison for a new church. The property was located in a bustling residential community on the south side of the city and sat along the main streetcar line. The founders clearly envisioned a new church to be the centerpiece of a rapidly growing community. Led by Minister Joseph W. Hagan and Board Chairman J.B. Heiser, church leaders moved quickly, signing incorporation papers on April 13th and hiring C.C. Weber, a prominent local architect of buildings such as Holmes High School, Highlands High School, the Beverly Hills Club, and even the Kentucky State Governor's Mansion. The cornerstone was laid in November of 1912. Excluding an incident in which a thief flooded the cellar while trying to steal piping, construction moved quickly. In July, the two churches met together for the first time, holding a service in the assembly room that today we call Fellowship Hall. The church held its dedication services in November of 1913 in a week-long celebration. The MACC of 1913 had much in common with the MACC of today. The exteriors changed very little, although in 1914 the church installed Covington's first electric sign. There were no parking lots until 1950. The sanctuary went largely unchanged until the 2006 renovation. The iconic stained glass windows were already in place, except for the Fant Pierce and Light of the World windows. The old 4th Street church organ was used for the first decade. In 1926, Jenny Hanks, a longtime member of the church, donated the Mahler organ we still use today. The following year, Madison Avenue hired Reverend Kenneth Bowen after Hagan's highly successful tenure of over 20 years. In 1929, while the country suffered from financial disaster, the Madison Avenue congregation approved perhaps the most ambitious building program in church history. In response to overcrowding in the Sunday school and to enable more dynamic programming, a new educational wing was built, providing 3 levels of classrooms to house the church's 25-plus Sunday school classes in comfort. The new addition was state-of-the-art, with a special nursery designed to let mothers watch their babies from class, a youth club room, a large chapel parlor, classrooms that centered on assembly rooms, and even skylights. Fellowship Hall was also renovated, with an expanded stage for drama productions and improved kitchen facilities. The new addition was dedicated on Easter Sunday 1930, along with the new Fant Pierce stained glass window. By 1950, times were changing. Attendance after the war remained high, but now many members commuted from the suburbs. In 1950, the church purchased and raised the house next door for a parking lot. The Masonic Lodge soon replaced the grand old lodge house across the street, and the first Kroger was built. In 1953, MACC celebrated its 50th anniversary, and in many ways remained much the same for the next 20 years. The 1980s, however, were a major time of change for the Grand Old Lady. In 1983, the sanctuary was renovated. The church celebrated its 75th anniversary in 1988, and the close of the decade brought more changes, including the installation of the elevator and new bathrooms. By the mid-1990s, attendance had dropped drastically. Many urban churches have left the city for the suburbs. Church leaders seriously considered a move. Once again, like the founders before them, our church leaders had a vision. The Covington community needs this church. MACC can make a difference in Covington. Over the following years, MACC turned its gaze out toward the community and found itself reborn. Community-minded members helped develop the inclusion class, community dinners, Samaritan car care, and a host of other outreach projects. Once again, MACC underwent changes to help enable the new vision. In 2006, the first phase of a large-scale renovation project began after a successful capital funds campaign. A new stage was constructed in the sanctuary to allow for a more flexible service. New audio-video equipment was also installed. But the changes didn't end there. Downstairs, the fellowship hall was completely renovated. The old stage was removed, revealing the original 1913 stage, and a new entryway was created, allowing access to the new garden parking lot built on the site of the old auto parts store next door. In a later phase of the project, the kitchen was remodeled, and a new bathroom was added in the education wing. So what will the MACC of the future look like? Only time will tell. But with a history of visionary leadership, it's probably safe to say the future will be every bit as exciting as the past. Over the last 100 years, we have answered God's call to do great things, and that willingness will help ensure that the centennial isn't an ending, but a beginning.